Well, hi there. My name is Jim Turner, and I'm going to show you what I call an observational panel. I just discovered something more yesterday. What this panel is good for. Initially, I made it for catching varroa mites. So I designed a drop screen the way that I thought was most efficient, and so that I can put a panel underneath there and see what's going on. And so here's, I pulled this out last night. I did a nighttime pull because I have, when I designed that drop screen system, I did it when my hive was dropping about 200 or more mites a day. That's how bad it was. It was bad. Last fall, 2024. And so I just quickly threw up a drop screen with panel. I designed it just based on the stuff I already had, right? So, I was seeing 200 a day on average. And as I started doing the sugar shake, it started dropping. First week, 2 weeks, I don't think I noticed a difference. But as I kept up the sugar shake, it went from 200 to maybe 80 or you know what I mean. It just kept dropping further down until I got to zero, and I've been at zero for I think going on 3 months now. So here's my panel from last night. It was in there for about a week, and so what I did was I decided to start pulling the panel out at night. It's so much easier than having all the bees land on my new one. Plus, they'd get into an area I didn't want them to get. In fact, there was a dead bee. Oh, I guess that's not a bee. Okay, so you can see here what's happening. They're still not done with drawing out the second brood box I put on. They're still filling it out. Now, if you've seen the last week ones, this was all caked in like this here. It was all caked in. So I'm able to see the trajectory. So this side here, these rows are nice and clean. Whereas last time I pulled the panel, which was less than a week ago, this side looked like this, up in here. So I can tell what's going on without dismantling my hive. And so they ain't done. They got one frame to go. Now this one's all done. They've got this all filled out. They're probably storing honey, and eventually, there might be some brood in there. I don't know what they're doing with it yet. Looks like they're just still cleaning it up. Yeah, just kind of fine tuning it, but for all practical purposes, it's all done, except for this one frame. And they're working pretty hard at getting that one frame finished, right? Pretty aggressive. All right, that's a lot of work. So let's take a quick look, right? And let's see what we got. And this is like the June 10th, 2025. So on June 10th, 2025, once again, yes sir, once again, yes sir. Yeah, I gotta say, once again, no varroa mites, not one. Not a one. Wow. So I'm thinking that when I got my beehive, they were already infested. So whoever the seller got them from, or the middleman, or whatever, it doesn't matter. They were probably already infested, because my area is not infested. I don't live in an apiary area where there's an apiary. Miles around, there's no apiary. This is a city, so there's only spotted hive here, maybe some spotted hive way over there. Who knows how far, right? So the bees I've gotten in my bee packages were already likely heavily infested when I got them, or at least infected. where they just took out my hives. So now that I have a hive that is mite cycle free, it's likely going to stay that way indefinitely. Most likely. So it's very possible I won't have to ever do any more sugar shakes because they're going to be able to take care of those new ones that get on. They go, oh, come here, Debbie, you got something on your back. Let me take a look. They're just going to, quickly groom that off. And I have seen a couple look like they look different. They don't look like the ones I used to see back in last year. They look like they had suntans. Mine looked like they were in a cave all winter. These look like they've been out in the sun. They were dark, and they look more like crab shaped. Mine were round. Yeah, mine were like a oval. These had like ridges, like a crab, and the legs, they had a little indentation. Yeah, a little different. I think there's like 18 different variations of roll mites. So you're gonna have about 18 different looks, right? Oh, so again, I see nothing. Observational panel. I can't, especially backyard keepers like me. Once you get this system set up, it is so easy to manage it. I mean, doggone, especially once all your frames are done. So when you're putting new frames in, they're drawing them out. Now, it can be, if you only got a little gap like me to pull the panel out, and you've got pieces built up that high, you're gonna have a pile behind your panel. I have a brush that I designed. I just took a stick, I took a bottle cleaner, a narrow bottle cleaner, and I stapled that to the stick. That way I was able to get underneath where this panel was and clean out everything, and yeah. Pretty simple stuff, right? Right? It's in the noggin. We just gotta get the shovel and dig it out. Like, quick. Yeah, we all carry a shovel around in our heads. So, here's my new panel. It's a little longer. This is for my new swarm hive that came in. And so, the swarm hive is no longer a swarm hive. The swarm that came in is now in their permanent home. That's called the peach hive because that's where I caught them, is in my peach tree. So this panel is going to be a little bit longer, and it's going to be pulled from the back instead of the front. So it's already all set up. So I'll be putting this one up and putting it in the peach swarm hive, and this one will continue to go into the original main hive. Okay, everything looks good, folks. I can't stress it. Now, if you watch some of my other videos, if you are if you do not have an account with YouTube, it's really simple. Just like on any other account, you create a profile, like on Facebook or Google or whatever format. You can put a picture, or you don't have to put a picture, and or you can go in as guest or whatever, and you can go into. Once you create an account, you can go in, once you subscribe to this channel, you can go in to subscriptions and click on that and go to Jimmy Turner 64, and you can see all the different topics I talk about. It's not just bees. And you might be curious, I do some interesting things and on different topics, including some that can save your life. Yeah. Mundane things that we don't think about that take us out, like in an instant, and we just don't think about it. Anyway, so please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, leave a comment. I respond to all comments. Humble or kind ones, don't matter. Humble and not kind, that's okay. And so I have a free panel again, free of mites, free of everything. There was a couple of dead gnat hive beetles on here. It's like they got trapped and just couldn't find a way out. It's like they were climbing up the walls. They climb up on that mesh, start to walk over that mesh and fall back in. Climb up, fall back in. Then they just died of exhaustion on this panel. So yeah, there's a few those mites, not mites, but gnat hive beetles. There's one right there. That much bigger than a varroa mite. Just really tiny. Here, I'll show it to you. not much bigger than a varroa mite, really. You can see it there. But yeah, really tiny thing. Looks like they can squeeze right through a screen, window screen. Very tiny little thing. Yeah, gnat size. Pretty tiny, huh? Yeah. So, all right. So that's kind of it for my day today. Thumb up, ring the bell, subscribe, and I'm gonna putty this up and go throw it in the hive. And same thing. Well, actually, I put the new one in the main hive. I put one. So I took this out last night, and I had one ready right there with me, and I already put the new one, or the newly greased one in the main hive. So I'll be making two like this of this length, so I'll know that that one goes into that particular peach hive, and this one goes into its own place as well. How come that looks more narrow? Oh, it's the same. It's just because it's so fat, look, with all the stuff on it. This was nice and trim looking because it ain't got no stuff on it. All right, have a good one. Bye now.